Today we will be revisiting the 1997 Mr. Olympia event. Oh, the controversy. Nasser El Sonbaty places second to Dorian Yates. Dorian, not in his prime here. This was his last Olympia. He retired after this. Nasser, he was just about as good as he ever was here in 97. And like I said, so much controversy surrounding this. I did this comparison maybe 5 years ago, so I thought it's about time to do it again. And you guys voted on this one. So let us go through these poses. I will give you my honest opinion on who I think should have won or who did win, depending on who I choose. And keep in mind, first of all, I'm not a judge, and I wasn't there. These are pictures. So your decision is only going to hold so much water, weight, or what have you. But I think we can tell quite a bit. Dorian Yates, his structure is good. It always was. The lats, I mean, you can see him standing next to Nasser El Sonbaty. He looks big. He looks presentable. But Nasser, look at the abs. He also looks very huge, clavicle width. And I believe that these pictures, they're tilted. It is hard to size them correctly. There is, however, this picture here of the finals. Now, I'm sure most of you will say, well, Nasser is stepping a little bit forward. That could be correct. That could be correct. But look at the detail, the muscle separation in the abs. I mean, whether they already went through the mandatories or not, you are being judged every second you are out on the stage. And Nasser El Sonbaty, it's looking good for him so far. Now go to the first mandatory pose, the front double biceps. And here's the thing. Most people will see the torn bicep and tricep as well for Dorian Yates. And his good arm is absolutely nothing to brag about. So most people will say, well, aside from that, Dorian's still winning. Just exclude the arms. Even Nasser's tremendous arms. I mean, those are great. They're great. There could be a little jimmy rigging going on, but let's just forget about that for now. Look at the rest of the physique. Look at the wheels. Look at the condition. Look at the hard, grainy nature of Nasser El Sonbaty. I think aside from the arms, it's still a victory for Nasser. And you throw the arm in the equation, that terrible, terrible arm. Okay, well, here's a different look at it. So, I mean, take your time and decide for yourself. Is it just the arm? Or is it the rest of the physique as well? I would suggest it's the rest of the physique plus the incredible arm of Nasser. I mean, look at those lats jutting out, the separation in the abs. Dorian, sure, he's got great lats, but the midsection was a little bit questionable here in 1997, as were the quads. So, here's a black and white photo. So this is one pose, and Dorian would argue that. He'd say, yes, it's just one pose. You can't condemn a man for losing one shot. Well, it's more than a loss, if you ask me. Phil Heath lost the Olympia title due to that midsection. He had a hernia sticking out. It is a visual sport for your day-to-day routines. There's nothing wrong with having a torn bicep. But it's a bodybuilding competition, and this one pose means a lot. Here's the next one, the front lat spread. And I'm sure the Dorian fans were waiting for the front lat spread. And it is a good shot for him. Absolutely. Look at the lats themselves. There can be no question he is winning on that aspect. Of course, his arm's a little bit smaller, so you can kind of see more of it. That was kind of a little bit of a mean joke, I know. But having said that, again, look at the rest of the physique. I mean, what does Bob Ciccarello always say? You don't look at just the tricep and the side tricep. You look at the whole physique, wheels, midsection, Nasser. he's doing good. Oh, here is another look at it. And yeah, Dorian, he is a freak when it comes to the lats. Nobody has lats that jet out like that. But Nasser, he's no small potatoes either in that aspect. He's got a great V-taper. And once again, I point to the condition. I'm sure the argument for most Dorian fans, or Dorian himself, was that he was much more conditioned than everyone. I just don't see it. Now here is the side chest development. Okay, well, if you look close, the side of the leg of Dorian, yeah, he is a little bit more conditioned, I would suggest. But Nasser, he looks pretty top-notch to me as well. And in terms of who is winning the pose, aside from condition, there can be no question. And here is a full body of each. Now you can definitely see Nasser. He has bigger hamstrings, he has bigger quads, arms, chest. The midsection itself looks better, and delts as well. And here is the final say on the side chest. I like to go through all of these shots because if there's an argument that, the angle was off, Nasser is not that big compared to Dorian, I have to say, Nasser looks like a giant next to Dorian Yates. Very underwhelming is Dorian in the side chest pose. But like I mentioned, his conditioning cannot be questioned. Now here's the next side pose, the side chest. The side tricep. Most people, they won't even look at this. Much like the front lat spread. You'll suggest, well, this is one of Dorian's best poses. He can't be losing. Well, I don't know. Here's a pan back one. And Dorian, he looks pretty solid here. The midsection looks a little thick for my likings for this side tricep. Nasser, he could look better too. He could look better too. I think the angle might be a little off for him. But I think from the side point of view, it is going towards Nasser if you add them both up. And the front point of view, I would also, no question, go for Nasser El Sonbaty. And considering the bicep really had nothing to do with Nasser winning, he was just plain winning. Considering that, these back poses had better be the most dominant display that I've ever seen for Dorian Yates, or else, And yes, Dorian is winning. He's winning on condition, muscle separation, glutes, hamstrings. Is it that much more condition? Well, it is very hard to say. Here is a closer up shot. And yes, absolutely, the Dorian fans, Dorianites, if pardon my expression, you guys are rejoicing right now. Yes, absolutely. But is this enough? Is this a drastic difference? Glutes, hamstrings? I don't know. Here's one more shot. Some good separation for the hamstrings of Nasser El Sonbaty, I have to say, for his argument for winning these back shots. I don't think that he's winning, but the question is the distance that much between these guys? I know it was in that front double. And speaking of the front double, here is the rear double bicep pose, perhaps the weaker of the two for Nasser El Sonbaty. I believe the rear lat spread was his better pose. Now, in terms of Dorian Yates, little unsymmetrical, is it not? Most Dorian fans don't like when you mention that, but it is obvious to me. Now, yes, you can see a conditioning edge for Dorian, but is it that drastic is what I want to know. Now, here is a close-up shot of each, and I know I have a tone in my voice that I'm kind of siding towards Nasser, but look at the striated glutes on Dorian Yates. Look at the hard crispness of the back of Dorian Yates. And here is another one. I guess we're pouring it on now. You see the trap difference. I mean, this is a dominant display. Little unsymmetrical, though, I will say. Highly inserted were the lats of Nasser El Sonbaty. So he was missing a couple of things. But if I'm not mistaken, in that front double, I think Dorian was missing something as well. Now here is the abs and thigh. I'm sure most of you have your decisions made by now. But if not, you might want to take a sharp, close look at the abs and thigh and not just suggest Nasser is winning because you prefer his abs. Look at the V-taper. Look at the width of the lats of Dorian. And these guys are side by side. See, sometimes one guy steps the line just a little bit, and then sometimes the other guy does. And if they're close in height, it starts arguments. Oh, no, he's taller than him. Well, no, he's taller than him. And in this instance, it's panned way back. Nasser looks a little bit taller. And his lats look a little bit bigger as well. So, definitely hard to say. At the end of the day, though, I think Nasser has a good chance of winning this pose. But I don't know. Dorian maybe a little underrated in the abs and thigh. And is it just me, or it could be even rude to mention this? I think Dorian, I think he was taking a little extra something. Not an expert, but I think he was taking a little something extra in 97. I think it might have made his chin a little bit bigger. But like I said, that's kind of rude. It's a little bit rude to mention. And the most muscular. How many Olympia titles would Dorian Yates have won if the most muscular was a mandatory pose? I think he would have won the exact same amount. I don't think that one pose was going to make a difference. Either way, it's about the overall package. It's about the conditioning. Because I do receive that question a lot. How many titles would he have won? I mean, he's not terrible in this one. The crab position, not a huge fan of that, but I like the hands clasped. Now the crab for Nasser, that's a great pose altogether. As is most of his most musculars. And I would give him the victory in this particular pose, if you count it. And if not, then what are you still doing here? I'm just joking. So my final opinion on this is that I personally, it would have been too much for me in the front double. So I personally would have handed the victory to Nasser El Sonbaty. I get it. Dorian was more conditioned. But you gotta understand, that was a nasty arm. Maybe the worst arm in Olympia history. Maybe Chris Dickerson's. But probably Dorian Yates, 1997. Let me know. Is this a close one? Is this a poll-worthy situation? Dorian Yates versus Nasser, 97. Who was the rightful winner, or who won rightfully? Let me know. Have a great one, folks.